Yo, what is poppin'? My 420 army is your boy, my Liam 420, and we're doing it, or we're gonna at least try to. The Violent Night review, because this is a longer film. It's about, hold on, holy shit, an hour and 52 minutes long. Yeah, it's a longer one, so I probably don't. And I don't really have this one, and this came out just last year, so I don't really have this one as fresh in my mind as I do with Arthur Christmas, Elf, and Christmas Vacation. So yeah, this one it's basically like they basically just like try to do like a Home Alone meets John Wick type deal, which I've never watched John Wick films, and yeah. Oh, by the way, if you notice my shirt, it's the same red plaid that I had before. Well, actually, I threw away my old one because it got too short, and I replaced it with this one. So yeah, just in case you're wondering, but basically, it starts in Bristol, England, where Santa, played by David Harbour, is just at a bar, and he's kind of just like drinking, and he's thinking, and then another person dressed as Santa walks up to him and tells him, "Hey, how long have you been Santa for?" It's like, "Oh, I've already lost count," and it's like we're already off to a great start. Two Santas talk to each other, and the bartender is even with them. It's like kids are just little junkies. All they just want is like, yeah, that's pretty much kids. They just want. And, yeah, so after a while of Santa drinking, he hands a present. The bartender's like, "Wait, how do you know my grandson's name?" And then he notices Santa go out through the roof terrace, and he's even so drunk he says that this Christmas might be the last one. So yeah, and the bartender's like, "Hey, you're going out the exit at least of the roof terrace." So she follows Santa up, only to find him that he's not there, and then she literally watches Santa fly until he literally ends up vomiting, and the vomit lands like directly on her. And see, I used to have this problem. I'm not sure if I still do, but whenever I see scenes with people vomiting, I end up yakking. Like it makes me want to. I start gagging. It's only happened with live action stuff and like YouTube videos where like we're with like where I'm actually like where they actually record it because that just always makes me gag. But I think the reason why I didn't gag the first time I saw this, which when this came out last year, I went to go see it with a buddy of mine who lives down the street from my parents' house, or down the street from me, and yeah, because everyone was talking about this film, talking about how crazy it was, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta see this. But anyways, after the vomiting, seeing me get the tail card, it's like, pff, wow, we're already off to a great start. So, I mean, a great. This is like a fantastic start. It's like, ooh, really got me hooked. So then we cut to Jason Lightstone, played by Alex Hassel, and then he's taking his daughter Trudy. Well, actually, he's waiting for his wife Linda, played by Alexis Luter, and then Trudy's his daughter Trudy's played by Leah Brady. So they end up picking up. So then they pick him. They pick Jason up. Uh, yeah, they pick Jason up at the car, and then Trudy starts saying some Home Alone quotes. It's like, "Oh yeah, she just watched Home Alone." It's like, yeah, super funny. This is the infamous scene where Kevin puts his like. Now I've only seen the first Home Alone, and I don't really have it in my. I can't. But I saw the first Home Alone once, and I can't really remember if people have told me that it's tamer compared to this film. So, and I haven't seen any of the Home Alone sequels, but I've heard that most of them are pretty bad. So, yes, then they arrive at the Lightstone Mansion, where they meet sister, Jason's sister Alva, and her boyfriend Morgan Steele. Uh, Alva's played by Adi Patterson, and Morgan is played by Cam Ginadette. Yeah, I'm using Wikipedia to read the cast member names. I don't have them so memorized. That's the benefit with having a computer. You can just read Wikipedia for the cast members or the cast somewhere, whether even if it's IMDb. But yeah, and also Gertrude Lightstone, played by Beverly D'Angelo. Yes, who was Ellen Griswold in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Beverly D'Angelo. When I first saw this film, I was like, holy shit, she's old. And then when I went back to watch Christmas Vacation, I was like, geez, look at how young she is as compared to now. Yeah, that's pretty much the thing with a film that came out in the 80s compared to this. But then, either way, Jason takes in his gift, and then Morgan and Alva's son Bert is there too. He's like streaming on his phone. It's like, psh. So he's also a live streamer. It's like, yay. Except I don't do that. Liam 420 is a streamer. So then Jason puts his present under the tree, and then he's like waiting until Gertrude arrives, and she's on the phone, just talking. And then we also see like a montage of Santa just delivering presents, drinking beer, and even a scene with him taking a piss in the air. It's like, what the fuck? He's just. It's like, wow. That just made me. That was so funny. But then when we even see Santa stealing some beer cans. So then, anyways, he arrives at the Lightstone Mansion after some time. Well, this is after Gertrude hangs up the phone, and then they're already doing all the way out there. So then Trudy runs up and hugs Gertrude before there's a scene where Jason and Trudy are decorating, and then Linda realizes that. Well, actually, Trudy says that Jason never took her to see Santa at the mall, and Linda's like, she loves seeing Santa, so I didn't do that. So then what Jason does is he goes down to a closet, steals a walkie-talkie, and gives it to Trudy as a hotline to talk to Santa, but he also says, now, he might not have time to answer because of how busy he is tonight, so. Yeah. And she's even using the walkie-talkie, but then soon the mercenaries. So then we also see this dude, Mr. Scrooge, played by John Leguizamo, who voices the Sloth from Ice Age, and also Bruno from Encanto. He arrives at the guardhouse, and then there's the gatekeeper talking. He's like, hey, my car broke down while down the driveway, and then he pulls out a silenced pistol. And then when the gatekeeper pulls out his phone to call, Scrooge pulls out a silenced pistol, shoots the guy in the head, and he's like, all right, we're moving in. So then there's a scene where a member named who had the codename Gingerbread. He heads to a security room, and he says, you people in America don't celebrate my favorite holiday, which is Boxing Day. Which, here's the funny story. See, obviously you know that I'm Canadian. We actually have a holiday called Boxing Day on December 26th. So I was wondering, do they celebrate that in other countries? I'm pretty sure a lot of people who watch my videos live in the US or yeah. That's one thing. That's one thing I've always wondered. I think some other countries celebrate Boxing Day. I know I check it on Wikipedia, but I just forget what other countries also celebrate Boxing Day. But it was not on December 26th. So I think Canada might be the only country that does that. I might be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you know any other country that celebrates Boxing Day on December 26th. So then after he hijacks the security room, and then he cuts the Wi-Fi, and then Bert is like, Grandma, your Wi-Fi sucks dick. And then they start moving, and then also when all the other mercenaries in the house start moving in, and they realize that they're getting invaded. And also when Santa arrives, this was sometime before the invasion. So Santa arrived at the Lightstone Mansion, and he realizes that one of the reindeer took a shit on the roof before he goes down the chimney. And he put down some gifts before using like a massage chair. But then he hears the gunfire from all the mercenaries coming in, and he tries to use his magic by like forcing his nose to go up the chimney. He's like, "Damn it! Why is it not working?" So then he literally has to hide, and then. We also see a scene where Scrooge finally... They're about to take everyone to the safe room, but then Scrooge shows up at the safe room. Scrooge ended up being there first, and he takes out the two guards, and there's even one, he's like, "Bah humbug, motherfucker," and he kills one. Well, he killed the first one, and then we even see the lady... Candy Cane, who even killed a few guards, too. But then... We cut back to Santa, who's failed after he can't get up the chimney. So then one of Scrooge's henchmen named Tinsel come in the room, and then he sees Santa hiding behind the tree. But then they begin fighting with each other. But in the process, they accidentally shoot Tinsel's gun, and it ends up scaring Santa's reindeer off. He was like, "No, you scared my reindeer off." So then, as they're fighting each other, Santa quickly knocks Tinsel out the window, but then unfortunately he's still tied up in Christmas lights. Santa survives the fall, however, Tinsel ends up getting impaled on an icicle, which Santa was about to climb out the window, but then he noticed the icicle below, and he was like, "No, I'm not jumping out that window." And he literally tries to fly away before he starts walking. He's like, "Ah, shit, how am I supposed to get out of here? My reindeer abandoned me." And then that's when he sees the Lightstone family being held hostage in the living room. And then, so then he heads into the back door, and we also see well, actually, no, at first Santa gets into a brief skirmish with another soldier named Frosty. Yeah, Frosty. So, and there's like a scene where they're fighting in like a game room, and then Santa's trying to pull something out of his magic sack, which is like, come on, please say somebody asked for a Molotov cocktail or like a sword or something. But they didn't, so instead he pulls out a nutcracker, he whacks Frosty with it. And then there's like another funny skirmish where he's just pulling random items out of his bag, Santa is, and then they're just fighting. Like whacking each other with pool balls because there was a pool table in the room as well. So... Then there's a scene, well then first Frosty ends up pinning Santa to the ground and is about to like stab him with a knife, but then Santa's like smashing ornaments against Frosty's head, which aren't doing shit to him, until Santa throws a star in Frosty's eye, which finally stuns him. So then Santa plugs in the star and it ignites and kills Frosty in the process because his head also catches on fire. So then Santa's about to call for help, but then he finds a walkie-talkie on Frosty's body, and then it's the same walk, and he ends up answering Trudy, which... Then this is where it comes in relevant. As they're trying to figure out, alright, who's going to get tortured? This is when they cut back to the living room with the Lightstones are being held hostage. Scrooge decides they're going to torture... they're going to torture Jason. Jeez, I am so terrible with the names in this review. Well, plus I just finished my college finals, so... Yeah. Luckily, once I'm done college, I'll be able to memorize names more clearly. Yeah, so then he's about to... they're about to take, like, a nutcracker. They even use, like, Jason's fingers. Like, dude, it's called a nutcracker. Put his shits in there. And Jason's like, no, watch the shits. That's, like, a reoccurring... That's, like, it's a Lamb 420 reoccurring gag. Ooh, the shits. Watch the shits, where a character gets shot or stabbed in the crotch area and they yell that. I've only used that in some of my novels I'm writing, so... Anyway, they're literally about to torture Jason by crushing his nads. Before Judy tells him to stop hurting her father, or Santa's gonna get mad. And she says, it's like, yeah, I guess what, I have Santa on this walkie-talkie. And then Jason and Linda are like, come on, no, you do not have Santa on there, you're just pretending, before Jason eventually is like, damn it, Trudy, Santa's not real. And this tears Trudy up, and then Jason reveals the whole story. It's like, yeah, we just tell you that our presents are from Santa and they're from us. So then Trudy leaves the room before Krampus, one of the mercenaries, prevent Linda from going after Trudy. So then Trudy ends up hiding in the attic. And Santa's about to leave, but then he sees the gatekeeper's body once he gets to the guardhouse as he's outside, but he's like, ah. And the phone there doesn't work either because of the reception being cut, so... And Santa also notices he's bleeding, so he heads back to the Lightstone Mansion. He puts some wrapping paper on the wound, and then he passes out. And we see like a flashback of him as a Viking. Or he reveals later in the film that he referred to himself as Nicomund during this time period. I know I kind of give away spoilers a bit, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. We had some pretty crazy kills. Which, by the way, as Scrooge is negotiating, he's like, hey, Tinsel's dead. It's like, so then they are investigating. We cut to them investigating Tinsel's body, and Scrooge is like, you guys have rappel gear. You're telling me he just fell out of the window? How does that even happen? Because they even asked Gertrude, who they hired as Santa, to play Santa during their, like, Christmas party, and then Gertrude's even like, I did not hire a Santa. And then the leader of the, oh no, actually the mercenaries end up, like, the extraction team ends up coming later, so... Anyways, after Santa patches up the wound, he wakes up, and then Trudy's talking to him. It's like, are you really Santa? And he's like, yeah, I am. It's like, yeah, parents often tell their kids that Santa's not real, and I was also known as... And he also tells Trudy his past of how he was Nicomund, and that if there was a nihilist back in the Viking days, he would be top dog. And there's even, like, a scene where Santa's like, alright, shove it right up their ass. And then Trudy says, right up their ass, and then Santa's like, come on, Trudy, we gotta keep you on the nice list here. Because Santa even realized, yep, you are Trudy Lightstone, and there was like some sort of like bear that he gave her. It's like, yeah, this is really setting up like the chemistry between Trudy and Santa. But then Santa's about to get Candy Cane, where he's walking down the hallway, he's about to strangle Candy Cane with like some wire, but then he accidentally sets off a Santa toy and he's like, you traitor, so then they start chasing after him. And Santa tries to hide in a room, but then Scrooge throws a fire extinguisher at it and blows the door off, so they tie up Santa. Oh, fuck. They tie up Santa and they start investigating his bag. It was like, this bag was the only thing he had on him. And Trudy's watching the whole thing from the attic. And then they notice the bag looks empty, but then they start pulling gifts out. And it's like, what? How is this happening? It's like, oh, that's the whole thing with the bag. Santa tells him that. That's the thing with the bag. It's like magic. You just put your hand in, a gift comes out. So, Candy Cane and Gingerbread are starting to speculate, is this actually the real Santa? But obviously Scrooge is like, no, this is not the real Santa. This bag is just a trick. So then Scrooge literally ends up throwing the magic sack into the nearby fireplace. And then Santa's like, no, that bag was filled with kids' dreams. And then Scrooge is like telling the story of why how Christmas ruined his life, because Scrooge was so poor as a kid, and they reveal Scrooge's real name to be Jimmy Martinez. Candy Cane's real name was revealed to be Kira, and I forget what Gingerbread's real name was. So then Scrooge is about to kill Santa by shooting him in the head, but then Trudy uses styrofoam to make them think it's snowing. And they actually believe the trick until Scrooge realizes this isn't snow, this is styrofoam. And that gave Santa a perfect opportunity to escape, which his magic finally worked. He got up on the roof, and then he sees an extraction team coming. And then they're like, it could be his backup team, and then Santa's backup, and then Scrooge is like, it's the extraction team, pull yourselves together. And then we cut back to the Lysone's living room, and then Gertrude was like, that's my extraction team coming to save us. So then Morgan runs, and he jumps out the window, and Gertrude says, I forget what the first word is, but blank Van Dipshit just ditched us. And then the leader of the extraction team, Commander Throp, they're either like, who the hell are you? And then they end up shooting and killing Morgan. And then they reveal their alliance to Scrooge, and then Scrooge ends up stealing the key. The key. Like, the code to the vault, which has $3 million in it, and then they head down to the vault, and they realize it's empty, and then Scrooge is like, is this a joke? Where's my 300 million? It should have been here. My intel is exactly correct. So then they head back up, and they're probably going to start torturing everyone. But then we cut to Trudy in the attic, who's watching Santa duck into like a maintenance shed. And he's like, and she asks Santa if he's okay, and Santa is just in there. And then he says he's like, look, I know I can't get your parents back together. Because apparently I think they got divorced sometime before the film, or they were, but then Santa pulls off his wedding ring, and he's like, and he even mentions that he had a hammer called Skull Crusher that he used to, like, pretty much destroy everyone back in his Viking days. But then he takes off his wedding ring from Mrs. Claus, and then the ring, he loses grip on the ring, and it rolls to a sledgehammer. And then he's like, oh, yeah. And then Trudy sets up some Home Alone-style traps. And then the extraction team heads into the shed, and Santa traps them in there before he starts brutally slaughtering them with a hammer. Well, first we see a brief snippet of Scrooge angry, saying, I just want to randomly shoot people. And then Bert's like, what if you randomly shoot the only person who knows? And Scrooge is like, God damn it. And then that's when we see the montage of Santa just brutally slaughtering the extraction team with the sledgehammer, with like a candy cane in his mouth, and he even like would stab people with it and shooting. And he even uses a gun to shoot a soldier in the foot, which earlier when he was fighting Frosty, he tried to shoot Frosty earlier, and then Frosty was like, safety's on, dipshit. Yeah, but this time the gun actually works, and then they literally throw in, like, the most gore-fested traps, which, it's like, yeah, that is an epic fight scene. People, like, soldiers are getting decapitated with a skate, some are even getting juiced in a snowblower. It's pretty brutal. And then the leader, and then, like, the one who was commanding it with the extraction team, when Santa finally gets outside, he throws the hammer, grabs a grenade, shoves it in the soldier's coat, and then the soldier just blows up. It's like, wow. That is an epic fight scene. They gotta start putting, I mean, obviously, you know, that's what I like about this film. That's what I like about that scene. It was epic. And then we get a Home Alone. So Trudy ended up setting some Home Alone traps like she told Santa before he entered the shed. She puts like a spike trap, which is like nails, and then she also puts a nail on the stairs, which Gingerbread and Candy Cane become wise to. And then Gingerbread is like, look at this little idiot. And he's like, you know, booby traps only work unless you hide them, you little moron. So he starts climbing up the ladder, leading to the attic. But what he fails to notice is that Trudy actually cut one of the steps on one of the rungs on the ladder, and then he ends up falling, and like the nail, it literally ends up like impaling him through the chin. It's like, Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. If I were one of those YouTubers who showed clips, I'm not sure if this would get me age restricted. I mean, obviously my Outlast stuff gets age restricted, so I'd be kind of used to it. But anyway, Candy Cane makes her way up the ladder into the attic, and then Gingerbread frees himself, and then Judy knocks down some like bowling balls, which end up hitting Gingerbread, and then one even knocks him onto the spike strip, and he gets a nail on his ass, which he pulls out, and then one more bowling ball comes flying. Well, actually, Candy Cane pushes the ball, and then unfortunately, Gingerbread does not move the nail away in time, and then it ends up impaling him in the head, ultimately killing him. It's like, psh, wow. And there's even more traps in the attic. Judy attempts to trip Candy Cane with a tightrope, but then makes her walk on some stickies tack, and then she throws like some cinder blocks at Candy Cane, and then she's knocked back like a punching bag, which even rips like some of her hair out of her head. It's like, okay, at least it wasn't as bad as Saw. That scene from Saw 4, which I haven't seen all of Saw 4, but I've seen that clip with the scalping scene where it's like pulling her hair. Every time I watch that scene, I literally have to put my hands up in front of my face like this because of how disgusting it is. I'm not sure if you can still hear me when I have my hands up like this, but literally that disgusting. Even Outlast does not have stuff like that. Or I mean, if you were to make this family friendly, you could just make it where Candy Cane has like a wig on, and then the wig gets stuck in the tech. It's like, okay, guess it's like okay, I guess we had Jada Pinkett Smith with us. Was here the whole time. Yeah. uh, so then Candy Cane takes her boots off, walks on some lights, and she's about to shoot Shruti, but then Santa shows up and is like, and literally attacks Candy Cane with the sledgehammer. It's like, you're about to murder an innocent child! And then he brutally kills Candy Cane with a sledgehammer. So then Santa's about to take Shruti to her family, which back in the living room, that's when Jason finally reveals, I'm the one who took the money. I was planning on stealing it too, so that way I was going to get out of here with Linda. And then Linda's like, why would you do that? And even Alva is like, what? So then that's when Jason goes to show Scrooge and the rest of his Jason throw up the money which he had stashed outside in like a Birth of Jesus display that a lot of Catholic church that I've seen a lot because I know what it is since I know what the birth of I know the Christmas story since I was raised Christian, so yeah. So then we also see a scene with Bert, Linda, and Alva. Like they're with this other mercenary Krampus who are just like he's trying to figure out who to shoot first, and they're arguing with each other before one of them throws vodka. I can't remember if it's Alva or Linda who throws the vodka into the fireplace, which sets Krampus's ass on fire. Then they start beating him to death with a shovel, or at least they think he's dead for a bit before he comes to life, and then Alva stabs him in the neck. And it's like, that's for killing Morgan. So then that's when Santa brings Trudy into the living room, and then she reconciles with Linda. So then they head outside to find Jason, who took Scrooge and his men to the first the Jesus birth thing with Mary and Joseph. So then he's like, Scrooge is like, aha, and they rewarded us with frankincense, myrrh, and lots of cash because the $300 million was hidden there. And then, which by the way, Scrooge left out gold. It was gold, frankincense, and myrrh that the three wise men delivered to Jesus. So just a little backstory for you if you don't know the Christmas story very well. But back to Violent Night, which yeah, it's like you think that you're trying to face the villain, and then finally that's when they start attacking the. That's when Alva, Linda, and so first they start taking Gertrude with them to a shed, or they're on snowmobiles. So then Santa ends up stealing a board and starts chasing after them while some mercenaries end up attacking Linda and Jason, who end up fighting them, and one even gets shot in the nads, which Santa ends up killing that one with his sledgehammer. I know, this film is pretty grotesque. So then they, there's like, and also after that fight scene is over, Trudy's happy to see that Linda and Jason are sort of back together, which is like, yes, you got them back together. So then we cut to Santa, who's using like the board from the display. He knocks a soldier off, and he's fighting some, and one even hits a tree. And then before he finally confronts Scrooge at a house, but then he ends up crashing into a stump, and he flies in the house along with the snowmobile. So then Santa and Scrooge are fighting in that house on ice, and they even like blow it up before Scrooge is. And then finally during that final battle, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Where Santa even gets his hand impaled on a fireplace, and then it's like Scrooge's like the last Christmas ends here. And well, actually, first Scrooge picks up the nihilist and realizes, holy shit, you are the real Santa. It's like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you. But then after Santa gets his hand impaled during that fight scene, Santa's like, not if you still believe this won't be the last Christmas. So then he goes up a chimney, which ends up brutally slaughtering Scrooge. And Santa's like super happy before Throp shoots him, and then Santa falls to the ground and is like, yeah, this ends right here. And then Gertrude's like, damn right it does, before she shoots Throp in the head. And Santa's like dying, so then Trudy runs up to him. He's like, no. No, and Jason tries to burn some of the money to warm up Santa, but he succumbs to the gunshot wounds, and then it's like, no, he's dead. And Jason's like, man, this brave man, whoever he was. And Trudy's like, no, he's the real Santa, and I still believe in him. So then everyone literally starts to believe in Santa too after some begging, and Linda and Alva are wondering, why are you just burning money to help revive him? He's pretty much dead at this point. So then after that, they all believe in Santa, and he's magically revived. It's like, pff, they tried to pull a fake out death on us. I've seen this cliche like so many times, where it's like, it's a fake out death, you think the person's dead, and it's like, nope, they're still alive. It's like, psh, why couldn't they have used this in Princess and the Frog, which I'll probably review that sometime after Christmas. So then Santa's magically revived. He's like, yeah, Christmas spirit. I don't really know how most of this stuff works. And then they notice Santa's sleigh. And then Santa's like, oh, now you guys come. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Leaving me to die? And before he heads in the sled, and then he sees a note from Mrs. Claus alongside a new sack. He was like, you went home to get my spare sack? I can't say mad, you guys. But it's like, what about the gifts that were in the old sack that was burned? Did they just magically get transferred into the new one? That's actually one thing I've wondered. And guess what? Not only is there a new sack, but Skull Crusher is in the sleigh too. It's like, so then Santa gets back in his sleigh and resumes delivering all the presents and wishes everyone a Merry Christmas. He's like, go on, you bastards. And that's basically the end of the film before the credits roll. And we also get a mid-credits scene where Bert is filming himself over one of the dead mercenaries. He's like, Santa is real. Don't end up as naughty list, or you'll end up like this guy. And yeah, that's pretty much my breakdown of Violent Night. Why this is the ultimate John. This is more like the Great Christmas Rescue. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film. It's like, that's why this film is a really good, if you're looking for a really good way to help you save Christmas, it's like, this would be a good one, but definitely not for little kids because of all the curse words they say and all like the blood and gore. Yeah, it says brutal violence, gory scenes, and coarse language. So, yeah. And again, I got the Blu-ray of this because I didn't want to pay $5 to rent this on Prime. So yeah, that's this video. This film is really amazing. I just love all the blood and gore. I really love the way they fight back and how they save and help everyone, and then like all the crazy stuff too. It's like, yeah, that's basically it for this film. I finally got out my Violent Night review, even though it may have been a bit sloppy, but hey, I did it. I don't think I'll do any more Christmas movie breakdowns, or I'll probably just post some, like, if I get my new gaming PC, which I'm hoping for before I go back to college for my last semester there, then I'll probably just post that and then upload it to YouTube, and then probably won't be able to get some Twitch, and I don't know, I probably won't be able to do a stream on Twitch either, and I was thinking of doing like a montage of stuff that's never been made, or stuff, but I think I'll probably just say a few of them here. Like the Mount Massive Asylum Minecraft map for Outlast, that stopped because of the books I've been writing, and same thing with all those analysis videos for Randall from Monsters Inc., Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, Syndrome from Incredibles, and obviously the video analysis I'd planned. So that's just some stuff, but yeah. That's pretty much, that's basically my Violent Night review, and this film is really good. It's like, yeah, and some people even call this like an R-rated version of Home Alone because of like all the blood and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this review. Let me know in the comments. Do you like this film, or do you think it's just too gory? So yeah, and that's basically it. And see you in another video. So please like, comment, share, sub, and peace.